With 20 With 25 years closing deals for brands like Tesla, Walmart, and AMD, Eric now equips first-time entrepreneurs to turn ideas into revenue through practical, repeatable sales systems. A sought-after speaker on podcast TV and national conferences, he blends real-world experience with energetic, no-fluff coaching that gets results fast, and we are so lucky to have him here with the library. If you have questions during the presentation, please feel free to put them in the chat. There will be time to answer at the end. Thank you so much for joining us, Eric. It's your show now.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. It is an honor and a pleasure to be a part of the Global Entrepreneurship Week. And this is my second of 3 sessions that I will be doing. So I appreciate the Fort Worth Library for giving me some time to speak to you all. So with that, I'm going to jump into the presentation for today, and we'll have some conversation, right? We're going to have some dialogue. So I want to start by saying, just a little bit about myself. So Eric Hamilton, I'm based down in Dallas, Texas. I have been an entrepreneur since 2001. And so the things that I talk about, they're not necessarily just from books and research. And this is truly me going through the process. And I took some lumps, right? Everything didn't also always go easy, but that's the great thing about it is you learn from those losses that I took. I'm able to learn from them. And I feel like it's my obligation, my duty to help entrepreneurs because I was in those seats and I'm still in the seat, right? I'm still doing these things. So I'll get into the information that we're going to share, but a lot of it, it's going to talk about how do you take your side hustle and turn it into a sales machine. And I will start by saying sales in general has a negative connotation to it. Most people think of it like a used car salesman. All of a sudden you start feeling slimy when you think about sales, but whatever your brand is, you are that brand and you are selling something. If someone is paying you for your service or for a product, you are selling something. And when you're able to wrap your mind and wrap your arms around that concept, it just makes it easier. Is that you're simply just having a conversation. You have a product, you have something. So we're going to talk about in 30 minutes, we're going to put together a revenue blueprint. And so again, I'm Eric Hamilton. I'm president of Hamilton Sales Academy. As well as Hamilton Estates, which is a real estate portfolio. I'll get into that. I'm an author. I wrote my first book last year called The Sales Blueprint, What Winners Do Differently. And I will say that book opened up some doors. I consider that a business card now. And so we'll get into some of that, but that's how we're going to spend our time together. By the time we walk out of here, I want and I hope that you all extract some information that's going to help you be more productive, have a more refined way that you look at your business. So with that, here we go. All right, let's start with some basics. Why businesses struggle, especially small businesses. And this is a question that most people avoid, right? Why do small businesses struggle? And so I'll say a couple of things. There's a few things that jump out. A lot of times, small business owners and entrepreneurs, we struggle with structure because it's a side hustle. It's because it's something that we do on the side. We are just making things happen. But here's my thought behind this is that structure creates freedom and chaos destroys it. So with that, what we want to do is in small businesses, sometimes you have great ideas, but you have weak structure. A lot of times we make this revenue, we're making some money, but we have no clarity with what to do with the money to put back into the business and how to grow the business. We have expenses that come in, and expenses is the ultimate, I'll say, sink shipping piece that we can have. Expenses, a lot of times we're not tracking expenses, and that can get to us. We have no reinvestment strategy. So we're taking out the money and we're just putting it in our pockets. And then lastly, is there's no rhythm or operating system. And there has to be a rhythm. It's something that you're doing day to day. This is what I do. And so a lot of businesses struggle with that. So today I want to make sure that we're going to walk away with a simple revenue rhythm and a personal blueprint that you can use this week. So I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, and they say a couple things. One is that they started their entrepreneurship or their business for the freedom that it's going to give. And so I'm going to guess that some of you have started your business because you enjoyed something and you expected freedom. Ultimately, what they've seen is a lot of them, they say, the business is actually working me. I'm not working the business. And so I'm going to say to you, bottom line, your entrepreneurship, your business should work for you, not the other way around. We're going to change that today. Again, structure creates freedom and chaos destroys it. Now, let me start with mission. So, and I sat down with, I work for a technology firm today, a large software as a service company. And I had a conversation with the chief security officer of this company, Everbridge, that I work for. And it completely changed the way that I looked at my business. And I've been sharing this ever since I had this conversation with him. So we were having a conversation and he was talking about his best practices and things that he's done. And before Everbridge, he spent 20 plus years in the FBI. And he would ask his team on a consistent basis, especially new people that came into the FBI. And if you watch any television shows or know anybody that's in the FBI, it's not an easy process to get in. You don't just show up and here's my resume, I'm sliding in. That's not how it works. It's a process. And so he would ask people in the FBI, what is it that we actually do in the FBI? The things range from catching bad people to stopping terrorists to using all these advanced tools to stop the criminals. And I said this the other day, my wife watches FBI and FBI International, so she's already thinking about all these things. And his response was pretty straightforward, which caught me off guard. He said, no, what we do is we protect the American people. Now, if you think about that concept, when you think of the FBI, you probably are thinking very similar to the people that answer the questions. But it's simple. They protect the American people. So what this means is your mission creates the momentum, and momentum creates the money. But if you're not clear, if your mission isn't clear and you're unclear on how to do it and what your mission actually is, how are you going to really grow your business? How is that customer going to really understand what you're going to do for them? So I'm going to challenge you right now. What is it? Type one word in chat. What does your business actually do? I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's say if you specialize in hair care or you are a beautician, then you actually specialize, you help people create confidence. If you're a bookkeeper, a CPA, what you're doing is you're creating a peace of mind. For me, I help entrepreneurs gain more confidence and structure around their business. So type a word into chat. What does it mean? What does your business actually do? I'll give you 60 seconds. All right, I see some good ones coming in. All right, so let's pivot very quickly. Who am I? The person you're taking these notes from. So a lot of things that I've been an entrepreneur, I've been in corporate America. I'm still in corporate America today. I've spent over 25 years in sales leadership. And I basically coached up sales teams on how to perform at a very high pace. And so a couple of things I'll talk about that I highlighted. So I was on this a TV segment for a year, and I basically had a financial blueprint or financial literacy segment. And the point of this was I came on the show simply just to give 5 to 7 minutes and just provide some financial advice. That turned into a reoccurring session, and then it ultimately turned into my own show. The other thing I'll call out is I've been in real estate, as I mentioned, or entrepreneur real estate for 24 years now. So my wife and I, we built out about 40 units of real estate portfolio. So we've got quite a few units. And so when I say from an entrepreneur, like a serial entrepreneur, yeah, I enjoy it. But what I've always said is my 9 to 5 allows me the funds to finance my passion. My passion is to help people. My passion is to come up with creative ways to grow revenue. Those are things I'm passionate about. And what my 9 to 5 did was fund that for me. So some of you may also be in that position now where you're still at a 9 to 5. Well, again, you got to have a plan. My plan is in the next 2 years. That's when I'll walk away from corporate America, but I can't walk away without having a strong plan. So I want you to think about that. If you're still in corporate America and you started your side hustle, I want you to just begin to map out a game plan, map out a timeline. When is it that you want to begin to exit and put more time and effort into your side hustle? Now, my mission, pretty straightforward. Everything I teach, as I mentioned, I built working full time, raising a family, running a couple of businesses. but I ultimately help entrepreneurs create clarity so that they can grow with confidence. That's my mission. That's what I love. All right. Let's jump back into the business. Now, the value statement. In every business, we need to have kind of a one sentence value statement, something that stands out about the business, something that resonates. And so think about this. Your mission becomes your message, but your message becomes your sales engine. Let me say that one more time. Your mission becomes your message. So go back to our last one. That becomes your message. Now your message becomes your sales engine. If your message is unclear, it's hard to have consistent sales behind it. Now, people don't buy what you do for them. They buy what it does for them. Think about the last purchase that you made. Let's call it I got a Samsung, but call it an Apple Watch or an Apple phone. It's really what the thing does for you. For some people, it's a status symbol, having an Apple iPhone matching the iWatch. It's probably not called an iWatch, but you get what I'm saying. Like some of it is a status. Some of it is simply, I'm comfortable. I'm familiar with the particular product, so I know how to use it. Whatever that is, that's how you want to think about your message, your value statement. So I'm going to keep it really, really simple, and I want you to practice this. I help blank do blank so they can blank. I want you to fill in the blanks, but let me give you an example. Here's my example. I help new entrepreneurs create clarity so they can grow with confidence. I help new entrepreneurs create clarity so they can grow with confidence. Now, here's what I want you to do. So drop your statement in the chat. Keep it simple. Remember, people buy what the product does for them, whatever your side hustle is. I'll give you 30 seconds. And as you think about, and as you wrap up the value statement, I want you to think of a couple of things. We started with the mission statement by trying to get some clarity on our business. And then we moved into the value statement. What is it providing to our customers? Now I want to take this and begin to move into a rhythm. This right here will change your business if you do it right. Right? This is called the 5-2-1 revenue rhythm. As we begin to go out and continue to build out our business, at some point we have to invest in finding other customers. How do we find? What does it look like? Every single week, I'm going to challenge you. 5 touches. That's not a lot. What does that mean? Reach out to 5 people every single week. It's 5 days in a work week. You can do it one day, one person each week you're reaching out to. The goal is to have 2 conversations out of those 5 touches. And if we have 2 conversations, in theory, we should be able to put up or have 1 offer. So 5 touches, 5 reach outs a week to 5 people. The goal of having 2 conversations and 1 offer. This is the simplest sales rhythm on earth. Do not overcomplicate this. And you may be saying, I don't want to reach out to anyone. I don't know how to reach out to anyone. Well, look, I'm going to say start first and foremost, ChatGPT or any AI tool, whatever you're using, Perplexity, it should be your friend. The modern day entrepreneurs, we have access to artificial intelligence. And if we're not using it, you're doing yourself a disservice. On a daily basis, you should have communication with your tool. Consider that tool, consider that AI bot like your personal assistant. Bounce ideas. Consider it your business partner. Hey, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think about this? Even thinking about a marketing plan. Hey, I want to be able to, look, let's keep it this simple. Watch this. I set a goal. I want to reach out to 5 people or 5 businesses every single week with the goal of having 2 conversations and ultimately 1 offer. Help me create, based on my value statement and based on my mission statement, help me create a message that will resonate. I think you guys see what I'm saying. Consistency is much greater than complexity. Again, I've been in corporate America for a really long time. I've had some of the highest performing salespeople that have been in sales. And I still keep it very, very simple. A lot of times we overcomplicate the process. It's very simple. We just overcomplicate it. It's not easy, but it's simple. Keep it very, very simple and consistency. It's getting up every day, doing it, even though you don't feel like it, going and executing on it. Now, type 521 if you can do this next week. Let me see it in the chat. Let me see it. 521 if you can do this next week, which I know you can. So you should be typing 521. I should see it just going all over the place. Now, this rhythm will turn your side hustles, depending on how many roles you have, but that can turn your side hustle into businesses. Okay. All right, so we're moving past the revenue rhythm. So again, how are we going about it? How are we going? Now I want to get to the 3 R's of startup sales. This is how you start up your business. Here's the three levers that will shape your growth. All right, you ready? Let's start with reach. Here's the 3 first. You have reach, resonate, and repeat. Think of reach as people that you can actually reach. You want to talk to people that you can actually reach. So maybe we don't want to shoot for Kim Kardashian for our first reach out. Okay. You may know her. I don't, but I'm saying, like, let's shoot for people. Let's talk to people that you can actually reach. Let's try to find Facebook groups and other groups that may need your services or your product set. Let's try to find other people on Facebook and Instagram and all these other things that are actually selling your product. And let's look and see what they're doing. So we got to start with the reach. Who can you access today? Now let's go to resonate as the second R. This is being clear about what you actually do. Oh, yes. You remember we talked about that with the FBI example. Your business's core mission must resonate. And if you are in the elevator with a person that can make 1,000, that want to purchase 1,000 pieces of your product, and it's going to take you 4 minutes to try to get out what your product does, you got a problem. It has to be concise. And then the third R is just simple. It's repeat. I said this last time on that last slide, but consistency beats creativity. It's being able to do it every single week. And there's going to be some weeks where you can't reach anybody. Nobody wants to talk to you. There's some weeks that someone's going to say your mission or your vision, your product doesn't resonate with me, right? Hey, I'm not buying hair care products, right? Technically I am, but you know, yeah, it's just more for the shine for me. And the repeating process, right? Being consistent, that is the key piece. That's the 3 R's of startup sales. Now, again, these are tools that large organizations are using. If we had more time, I would provide detailed examples of other companies that are large that are using these concepts. But folks, this is corporate America concepts that I'm providing to you that you can use. I'm just scaling them all down. Apple, Google, Amazon, they're all using these kind of things. Think about Apple. Think about the reach. Think about who they're going after. Apple has now built out an ecosystem. Once you have people interested, the message resonates, right? Now you start building out the ecosystem, right? Because now you've got the iPhones, you've got the Mac computers, then you've got the wearable devices, then you got the big engine, which is service. So now they've got an ecosystem. And service is basically all profit. All you're doing is paying your people. But all that work that you're doing, it's all profit. So before I digress too much, that's the 3 R's of setup of startup sales. Now let's get to what I call the magic question. So I want you to think about this. This magic question has closed enterprise deals, for coaching clients, real estate transactions, just about everything. It's asking the question at the right time. I'm calling it the magic question. Now, this is a big question, but here's what you have to think about. It's when to say this question or ask this question and how to make sure it sticks. And here's the question. What would need to be true for us to move forward? Think about your business. Think about any service that you offer or whatever it is that you have. When you go back to the 3 R's, which is the last one, and you're trying to reach someone. And again, let's keep it simple and call it a hair care product. For me, let's call it a beard care product. I already have something that I use. If I'm not open to changing, then asking the question, what would need to be true for us to move forward? This is after we have a little dialogue. I might say something like, well, it's got to meet this price point and it's got to do this for me. Now that falls onto you, right? Does your product actually deliver on what it takes? Because you have to be ready that if someone were to answer this question and give you the answer, you can't just sit there. Right? We've got to be ready and willing and able to move forward with this. But that's the magic question. That's the magic question. If you think this question will help you, please type yes in the chat. Type yes in the chat. Remember, everything we do, we keep it simple. The more simplistic you make this, the better off you're going to be. I'm going to say the question one more time. What would need to be true for us to move forward? I've literally used this yesterday in the business world, in my coaching engagements, when I'm talking to people that express some interest, because sometimes I'll get an email or an invite that comes in and someone expressed interest in my services. After a quick conversation, then I'll just ask the question, what would need to be true for us to move forward? Most of the time it's price. All right. Let's move into some tools. There are several free tools that you can use. These tools remove all the excuses. You can run a business from your back pocket. I'll walk through a few of them. Let's talk about Google Sheets. It's basically can become your centralized repository for information. You can share it with your partner, you can share it with your business associates, etc. But it's a free tool. Just think of it like Microsoft Excel, but it's cloud-based. I'm going to jump to the next one, which is Calendly. Calendly. What that does, it gives off a presence that you're bigger, your business is bigger than what it is, right? Because you're setting this whole concept up of you have a business, a big moving business. And so now I can schedule an appointment with you without me calling you or connecting with you, because it's just too hard to catch up with people. For me personally, it's very challenging for me to try to catch up with someone to get this meeting going or get these counseling or consulting sessions going. So using this allows anybody to go in and schedule time with me. It's simple. Canva is an easy way to create like a PowerPoint type of presentation. Very, very simple. ChatGPT, again, Perplexity, there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them. But these are artificial intelligence tools that can help you in your business. Again, bounce ideas off of them. Treat them as if they were not only your friend, your business partner, your consultant, your administrative assistant. Have them write some of your emails for you. I've gotten to the point now, I've shared this at another presentation. I actually purchased a team of AI bots. You like to resonate. A team of AI bots. So there are 6 functions. There's one person that serves as a receptionist. You literally will call this number. That person will answer and say, thanks for calling Hamilton Estates. And it sounds like a real person. It's not. It's an AI bot. There's another one, and that person's job, I think his name is Steve or something, but his job is to reach out, to send emails. So going back to the 3 R's, he's the reach guy. He's sending emails out. Not because I'm in sales, right? I'm writing them for him, but you don't have to write it for him. You can just write the concept of what you want to get across. There's a legal person, there's a social media person, there's a blog. I say person, but it's an AI bot. There's a blog bot. All of these things, someone that will keep your administrative assistant that will keep your inbox tidy. I just like a little chaos in my inbox, so I don't use that one very often. It's called marblism. Marblism. But again, there's a lot of tools out there. My point of this, by saying all this, is there's a lot of tools that you can take advantage of. And as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, if you're not taking advantage of these opportunities, these free tools, you're doing yourself a disservice. These are things that you want to and need to pay attention to. All right. Now here's what I'm going to ask. I'm going to challenge you with the couple minutes that we have left. I would like for you to write down. You don't have to put it in the chat. You can put it somewhere else. Let's complete these 3 items. Number 1, your 1-sentence value. Your 1-sentence value. Number 2, your ideal customer. And folks, if you don't know who your ideal customer is, you can't say everybody. Well, you can say anything you want, but if your customer is everybody, it's literally nobody. Even the great Apple. Their customer base isn't everybody. It's pretty dang close. And then lastly is your 1 weekly sales move. We talked about sales motion. We talked about sales methodologies. We talked about what we want to do, but what is the one thing that we're going to do consistently to move the business forward? How are we going to grow the business? And remember, your mission drives your message, and your message drives your money. Let me give you 30 seconds for this. If we have time, I would love to read or see 1 or 2 of the 1-sentence value statements. All right, so where do we go from here? So hopefully you had an opportunity to learn a couple of things. This is short and sweet, but an opportunity to learn a few things about just trying to keep it simple. This is how you take your side hustle and you move it into a legacy, because your side hustle is a legacy. I think if you build the blueprint, that's how you protect your legacy. I'll repeat that again. Your side hustle is a legacy. You build the blueprint that protects it. So as you see on the screen, this is my book, What Winners Do Differently, the Sales Blueprint. The concept behind it is not just about sales. Actually, I wrote it for sales. So going back to my audience, my ideal audience began as salespeople. What I ultimately found out is not just salespeople. There are single parent mothers. There are young entrepreneurs. There's mature entrepreneurs. There are people thinking about becoming entrepreneurs. There's so many things, because I not only put sales processes and sales methodologies in this, but I also put things around mindset, how to prepare for success. The top salespeople would really, if I sum up the book, what Winners Do Different is we prepare for success. We're disciplined. We're consistent. I read this article that gave, like, it was 7 different factors, success factors for millionaires. And a couple of them resonated with me. One is they were in the 5 o'clock club, which means they woke up at 5 o'clock. I'm like, why would I wake up at 5 o'clock? I just wake up at 6. I didn't understand it until I did it. The other one was they work out at 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, why not work out at 5:30 in the evening? Because that's what I do. I didn't understand it until I did it. They also journal on a consistent basis. They read on a consistent basis. We won't understand it until we do it. But the point of this is, if we're not committed and we're not disciplined and we're not consistent, we're not going to have levels of success. So keep building your financial blueprint. Now, if you want help in building this out, I will offer for anyone that attends this, you have to make sure that you put it into the email that you send me. But anyone that puts that you are part of this, I will provide a 30-minute free consultation to help you build out your blueprint or answer any questions. My contact information is on the screen. So you can send me an email at info@thesalesblueprintforsuccess.com. My website is www.thesalesblueprintforsuccess.com. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Eric Hamilton Sales Blueprint. So my final thought on this is don't forget, as I just mentioned, your business is not a side hustle. It's a legacy, but the blueprint will protect it. Okay. So with that, I want to thank you all for your time. I really appreciate it. And from here, let me see if there's anything that I can do. Any questions? I don't see any questions, so I think we're. Oh, I love this one. Fort Worth residents learn new skills so they can live better lives. I love that one. I love that one. That's powerful. I love it.
I have to admit that was me. But I actually do kind of have a question for you.
Yes.
If this gives the folks in who are listening a chance to think of their own questions. I have somebody in my life who is thinking about maybe going into business for himself, but he's
Yes.
really, really struggling with like where to start, what kind of business this would be. my
Yes.
my father got laid off. He got caught in a riff, and
Yep.
he's 65. And so most
Mhm.
people who are looking at his resume are seeing somebody on the verge of retirement. And he's not
Yes.
really thinking about retirement for another 10 years, but you know what hiring managers can be like. And so he's considering, he's like, I don't really want to stop working yet. So
Yeah.
maybe I do it myself. And then
Yeah.
nobody could tell me that I'm ready to retire until I'm ready to
Absolutely.
retire.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you say, like, first three steps for
Yes.
somebody who's still, like, not even sure he wants to do this, but is, like,
Yep.
trying to figure out what the process is?
Absolutely. So I love that. And I think that's applicable to multiple people, not just people that are retired or someone that has lost their job. But first and foremost, I think if you're going to start a business, you want to do one of two things. Number one, you find something that you're passionate about. If if he spent whatever 20 years in corporate America, he has a skill set. There is information that you are going to pick up just by being in corporate America, doing something, being responsible for something that you can share. People want to hear that. So, number one, find something that you're passionate about. I think the second thing is you find something that's a gap in society, something that people want that's not easily accessible now. What's missing, right? If we think about the simple things like Amazon, what was missing? Oh, I want this product. I don't feel like driving to Walmart, or I don't feel like driving to Target. Well, what if it was at your house in a couple of hours? Would you pay a little bit more? Think about DoorDash. Oh, I don't. You know how many times I get a McDonald's DoorDash at my front door because of my 16-year-old? I'm like, why am I? I'm saying, hey, why am I paying more when I can just drive 5 minutes for McDonald's? So there's a couple ways to think about it. I would start with, I'm passionate about this and I have knowledge, or I found something that's a gap that I can help solve for. I think that's what you start. My other thought would be utilizing if he's older, he may not be comfortable with AI, but maybe you or someone can help. But that is the tool. That those tools from ChatGPT and others, you literally put your life, not your life, but you put information on. Here's where I am. Here's what I'm looking to do. Give me some ideas. It could be something as simple as like when I was trying to lose weight and get fit for a trip my wife and I were headed on. I literally said, hey, here's where I am today. In 4 weeks, I have a vacation. Provide me some workouts and eating routines that's going to get me to Y by X. And you know what it did? It gave it to me. Now, here's the thing, it's up to you to execute on it, right? It can give you all the tools, but you have to be able to execute on it. And I kind of did, but not 100%. But the point is, it gave me direction. And that's what we want. So hopefully that helps.
It does. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any other questions in the chat? Just we don't want to close this out if anybody's got something they want to ask about or say, but if everybody's all right, we can give everyone 30 minutes of their day right back.
So with that, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for to Fort
Thank you
Worth
so much
Library.
for coming out. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And looking forward to it for those that are on, if there's anything I can do, drop me a note. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or any of the other social media sites. But thank you and all the best to you on your next venture as well, trying to get to the next opportunity.
Thank you so much. All right,
Absolutely.
everybody have a fabulous day and please enjoy the rest of Global Entrepreneurship Week.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.